Hi everyone, I'm Abigail and today I'm going to talk through my everyday makeup routine. Hope you're having a good week and thanks for joining me. If there's a particular area of this tutorial that you're most interested in, I've marked the times down below in the description box so you can skip ahead if you'd like. You'll also find links to the products I mentioned, so here we go. I've already washed my face. Starting with a clean canvas is important, and I've put on my moisturizer and SPF. I'll be doing a skincare video sometime in the future where I'll talk about those products. I like to change up what I use just to try new things. I'll be mentioning alternatives that I've tried and liked as I go along. And over the past year, I've been trying to streamline my routine and find things that work well and are convenient to use. One less stress. As always, remember you're beautiful whether or not makeup is your thing. Taking care of yourself is what's important. I like playing with makeup because it's fun and relaxing for me. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with e.l.f. Smudge Pot in Ain't That Sweet as an eyeshadow primer. I do this before anything else to allow time for it to dry. So I'm going in with Wet n Wild's large eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going from the lash line to the brow bone. You can do this with your fingers, but I prefer to use a brush because I don't like to dip my fingers into a pot. And spread that all around. On some days when I don't want to do the full eye routine, I'll do Ain't That Sweet just from the crease right here to the brow bone, and then all over the lid I'll do e.l.f. Smudge Pot eyeshadow in Cruising Chic, this like bronze color, all over the lid, and then just follow up with mascara for when I want a simple eye day. And then I'm gonna wipe the brush off to get rid of excess residue. I'll go into how I clean my brushes in the skincare video. Another eyeshadow primer, I've also tried Urban Decay's original primer potion. And now it's time for foundation. I haven't been using a face primer lately, but I do like Mary Kay's foundation primer. I haven't really used any others. I usually apply foundation with my fingers or a sponge, just because I just haven't gotten the hang of brushes. So today I'm using Pixie's H2O Skin Tint in No. 1 Cream, and it lends itself better to a finger application. I've tried it with sponges. The formula is too watery for a sponge to work well. I also like the finish of Maybelline Dream Velvet Foundation and L'Oreal Paris's Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. I've tried a lot of drugstore foundations, and my main issue is finding the correct shade. I tend to be the lightest shade available, and with a lot of foundation lines, the lightest shade is even too dark, so I don't bother. So if you don't like to use your fingers, you can always use those wedge sponges that come in the big pack. Or right now I have a beauty blender. Those are a little bit pricey, but I try to take really good care of mine by cleaning it and sanitizing it twice a week, just to help it last longer. But Real Techniques also has a cheaper version called the Miracle Complexion Sponge. I use that and like that as well. I wish that this foundation was a little more high coverage, but the main thing is it's comfortable throughout the day. I have pretty dry skin, and my last foundation was drying out my skin towards the end of the day. Now I'm gonna go in with Mary Kay's Under Eye Concealer. It's like a peachy color to kind of combat the blue. If you remember your color wheel, orange and blue are opposites. So I pat that in and then go in with my damp beauty blender and blend it in some more. Okay, and then I'll go over that with Maybelline's Fit Me Concealer in 15 Fair. Put that under my eyes. And then also put some down my nose. In the center of my chin because there's some redness there. And then any blemishes I don't usually get a lot. My acne used to be bad in high school and especially in early college. I tried like every different kind of prescription acne medication and nothing worked except for Accutane. That stuff is intense and it dries you out, so my skin has been pretty clear for the past 6 years. So now I'm blending that in with a beauty blender. I try to make a triangle shape with the concealer to blend it out a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Next, I'm gonna take e.l.f.'s HD blush in Superstar. They don't actually sell this anymore, but I think you can still get it on Amazon. You only need this like smallest amount because it's really pigmented, so this will last me a while. I also like Sonia Kashuk's cream blush in Rosy 02. You can get that at Target. Ooh, bit much. But that's okay because we'll be putting powder over that and blend it out a little bit. I don't always do cream blush, but it does help your powder blush. It gives you an extra mile once your powder blush wears off by the end of the day. Next, I'm gonna set all that with the Mary Kay translucent powder. So that in the lid. New York Color loose face powder in translucent also works well. You have to be careful with that because it can get kind of messy. So first, I'm gonna set this area. My eyeshadow primer and under eye concealer using the e.l.f. small tapered brush. And I use the smaller brush for this area just so it gets in all the corners. Tapping works better than swiping so that you don't wipe away all the hard work you just did. It takes a little bit longer. And now I'm going in with the e.l.f. complexion brush, wherever else I need powder, where it gets shiny during the day. I mean, my skin's pretty dry, so it doesn't get that bad, but it's usually my forehead and my nose and my chin. And then I also like to do my upper cheeks, just to help the cream blush stay in to make sure I got the under eye. Then I take Mary Kay's Mineral Cheek Duo in Juicy Guava and using Wet n Wild's blush brush, I'm going to sweep it from the apples of my cheeks up. And there are different ways to apply blush depending on your face shape. So I do this upward angle because that's supposed to help. Since I have a round face, that's supposed to be flattering for round faces. Definitely a blush person. I really like blush. And I don't really use highlighter or bronzer, but because this came with highlighter, I'm gonna take some from the highlighting shade and put it on the tops of my cheekbones for a little bit of glow. And then over my eyebrows, down my nose, a little bit on my chin. Another blush that I like is Wet n Wild's Color Icon blush in Pearlescent Pink. It's another option with good staying power. Now I'm gonna do eyeshadow. So I'm gonna take a matte highlight shade from NYX's Avant Pop eyeshadow palette in Nouveau Chic. I only like about half the shadows in this palette. Some of them are patchy and not very pigmented. So I'm gonna put this shade on the brow bone using e.l.f.'s blending brush. And some on the inner corner. And then I'm gonna take a matte brown shade and pack it all over my lid. So I've patted that on and worked it into the crease. I'll go into Mary Kay's At Play Eye Trio in Neapolitan, and I'm going to take this middle dark brown shade. For the crease. And I'm going to work it around the outer third of the lid for some added definition. I like this e.l.f. blending brush because you can turn it different directions to get a secondary use out of it, so you really only need one eyeshadow brush. So if it's like horizontal like that, you can get in there into the crease. And then you can turn it and blend, so you don't have a harsh line. But if you're a little bit pickier about your crease, you might want a smaller eyeshadow brush. Also, if you like to do a little bit of shadow on your lower lash line. I don't do anything to my lower lash line, it's just my preference. Blend, 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 blend. One of the sides. Okay, so I blended that all in, and now we're gonna do brows. Some days for brows, I just do a tinted brow gel, like L'Oreal Paris's Brow Stylist Plumper Medium to Dark, or Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel in Espresso. If you have fairly thick brows, you could definitely get away with this, or just a clear brow gel. My brows are okay, but sometimes I want to do a bolder look. So then I first fill in my brows with e.l.f.'s brow pencil in neutral brown. I like this because it has a spoolie, so you can brush out your brows first, just to get them into place. And then you can also use this to blend at the end. So using small strokes, press harder for darker brows and lighter for more natural brows. 2 rules of thumb with brows: get a brow product that's 2 shades darker than your hair color. And brows can be sisters, not twins. So in other words, they don't have to match exactly. As if you could tell, my natural brows don't grow exactly the same either. I'll go over brows with my tinted brow gel a couple of times, just so all the hairs stay in place. And this e.l.f. brow pencil seems to last pretty well throughout the day. I've not had trouble with it wearing off. Now for eyeliner. About half the time I skip this step and go straight to mascara for more natural eye days. First I curl my lashes with Tweezerman's Curl and Go eyelash curler. This step is for mascara. I do it before my eyeliner so don't mess it up. I'm enjoying wearing a cat eye, although sometimes I just line the upper lash line minus the flick, like this. I use Stila's Stay All Day waterproof liner in dark brown. I wish they had a dark purple shade because that's my favorite to use with green eyes, but alas. Sony Caustic has a similar liquid eyeliner. It'll last all day on the eyes apart from the bit that wears off near the inner eyes, which isn't that noticeable. This 4 collection 12-hour wear waterproof contour eye pencils also last a long time. So normally I start with the flick and I follow the invisible line up. From the lower lash line, I try to do more of a curve rather than a straight angle, so it looks more natural. So then I draw the triangle back down, smooth out the rest of the line. Try to keep this as thin as possible unless you're going for a bolder look, because it can get thick in a hurry. Sometimes I don't always accomplish the thin line. And try to get as close to the lash line as possible so you don't have any gaps. And now for the finishing touch, mascara. Right now I'm using Mary Kay's Ultimate Mascara in Black Brown. I prefer mascara that separates the lashes and provides volume. I also like CoverGirl's Lash Blast Super Sizer and Maybelline Lash Sensational and Maybelline's Volume Express Rocket Mascara from the drugstore. So start at the base of the lashes and wiggle up and try to get the inner lashes and then do the lower lash line. Wiggle back and forth. Wiggle back and forth. La la. And finally lips. I'm usually not a huge fan of lip products. I just throw on some Carmex or Burt's Bees. I only do lipstick topped with lip gloss for really fancy date nights or weddings. But on its own, I like Essence's XXXL Shine Lip Gloss in True Love. It doesn't last very long, but it's really comfortable. Longer wearing options that I like are Mary Kay's Nourish Shine Plus in Sparkleberry, which is good for fall and winter, or Fancy Nancy, which is a coral color. It's good for spring and summer. Pat off the excess with a tissue. Final look, as I said, you can find a list of the products mentioned in the description box below. I've tried to use links with the best price, but always do your own research. I find that Target and Walmart tends to have price points $1 or $2 less than Walgreens or CVS, but not for every product. So I hope this was helpful. Leave any questions or thoughts in the comment section below and I'll try to respond. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.